So, you're gonna move on to the next mission. Baldur has joined the Allies, and it is time for Mercia to face Sigurd. My sword! Sigurd just left it here? He had no further use for it once the door was open. I thought I heard you. You are fools to follow me here. I am but steps away from Requiem, the ultimate power over Aurora. Your pathetic mortals are too weak to stop. So go, run, hide, huddle in the dark. There is nothing else left for you to do. Nothing else left. You killed my father. Chased us across the continent, leaving ruin and death in your wake. Now you're steps away from a weapon that would threaten all of Aruna. Done too much damage already. Figured it is time someone stopped you for good. Well said, Queen Mercia. He's right, you're not. Indeed. Lucky. Right behind you! I appreciate it, everyone, but I need to do this on my own, because I'm a loser. For Dad. But... She has proven herself in battle many times, not the least in battle against herself. I do not doubt her abilities as a commander. She must avenge her father. But before we last part, I left some things unsaid. The weight of those unspoken words had you not come back. You're like a daughter to me, Marcia. Rick, when Dad died, I would have been lost without you. I think I'm gonna vomit. I can feel my gorge rising. I haven't thrown up in more than 900 years, and I really think this is gonna do it. If you're done, perhaps we can get on with things. Some of us have worlds to conquer. This is it, Sigurd. I won't let you get away with all the horrible things you've done. If you have any choice in the matter. Enough talking. So we have to either destroy the enemy stronghold or defeat Sigurd to win the thing. Match. What we want to do here, we want to win the economy game, which is trying to take everything on this side of the line. We want everything to be mine. This are going to be ideal. We're definitely going to get this one, but we're going to be fighting over these islands here in the center. If I play my cards right, we should be able to get everything up here without trouble, without even having to really risk too much. However, that being said, we do need to 450. How much? Okay. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to build wagons. 2 wagons. So you'll be able to capture this on the next turn, okay? You, on the other hand, wagon. I'm going to actually hop into the wagon. Dump. Here, build another unit. Push up here. Guys moving. Guys need to be moving forward. He needs to move forward. Eventually, we're going to have to build default. So, right now they're a bit expensive. 350 is, well, it's less. I guess it's less expensive than going to be rock here. Here. Can't afford anything. Just focus on trying to take as much of the center properties as we can. Not really sure how this works. Guys coming down here. So we're going to try to force our way as quickly as possible across the map to get that. Like I said, these are going to be uncontested for me. This is going to be probably contested, but I don't know how well. So we'll have to see what he does, particularly in this key area first. Okay, so he went with harpoon boat, which is not great. in terms of the capture game. The rest, I'm gonna sort of try to play by ear. Ground units up first. Force up second. Gotta stay out of range here for one. Here. Turn. This. I know what I want to do. Drop you off here. Load into the wagon. Be able to push over here to take this pretty quickly. Now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with other funds. Sea turtle will be good. Build a mill farm merfolk first. That'll help us start taking some of these, or maybe up depending on what it does. And then I'm not spending it. Where am I? Battle pup? I think I may need a battle pup. Alright, so I lied. I'm gonna build a battle pup. See where the world takes. That here, up here, good. Okay. Perfect. Got guys taking two. Don't have a spearman. I'm breaking back. Straight forward. Actually, click forward one first. Volcano, it's so ominous. Haha, what's next? Will be frightened of the trees or a big scary rock? So he can move up here, take this, down here, take this, and take that following turn. But what we want to do is we do want to stay out of range. What? Harpoon ship? Harpoon ship. That'll be it. Wait. More of these houses I can take, the better. Be really kind of pushing in. Toward.
We're looking to essentially win the economy minigame, or the economy game here. She's gonna poorly spend some of her money on some overpriced units that are gonna give me some issues, I think, but not super concerned with that. Unfortunately, I did make a error there so far as my um, mermaid thingy, my whatever they call that, can capture the sea building. Merfolk can capture the sea building in my spear unit. Doesn't have to capture the port town. So also trying to keep you alive, so I'm gonna back you off. Use you down south, maybe. Need to build a golem soon, so we can move that into position to start pushing towards the castle, as well as, you know, just to be a general pain in the ass. Golem, golem. Fortunately, we are gonna need, well, we're okay on harpoon ships right now, but we're gonna need, like a sea turtle here soon. Yeah, so I'm making about 200 more gold than she is per turn. Provided I keep the same number of properties that I have right now. So we'll eventually eclipse her in terms of profits. Or I mean, monies. So just remember that every turn, at least until I lose a property, just 200 gold more than she does, you know? So that's gonna add up pretty quickly. You know, 200 gold here, 400 gold the next turn, 600 the next turn, you know. So whatever, 6 turns I'll have a golem worth of advantage over her. Just need to keep making units, keep being cost effective with them, and we are good. Good to go. Trying to figure out what I need to do next. Obviously can't afford the golem at the moment. Really could use some backup. Bottom area where my spearman is kind of fucked, and I'm stretched a bit thin where I'm standing, which means that if they really pushed in with the, you know, the brunt of their force, I think I'd be fucked. Unfortunately for her, she's dealing in a Y situation, which means she has a choice of either going north or south. She cannot go both and overpower me. So right now they're pushing south, which is a bit of a problem, but we're going to try to rectify that. It's becoming tiresome. You're simply delaying the inevitable. Hold still a moment and I'll come and swat you like a troublesome gnat that you are. Gnat? I'm not. You're the only bloodsucker around here, and I'm not going down that easy. So yeah, we want to kill any flying units that come our way, and then I want to knock you down to size. Unfortunately, I cannot attack sea units from here, for none of my ground units do that. Might have been better served with bringing Marcia in to attack first. And then, well, whatever. I'm thinking of a different unit. I guess a mountain's a three space penalty for units. I don't know. That seems kind of weird that I wasn't able to get onto that mountainside. The warship's kind of busted here, but you don't want to get caught by the turtle. And then obviously the warship has a limited amount of space that it's effective in. So I guess I could go south with it across the bridge. I'm just sort of thinking about the properties within range of roughly where my southern merfolk is. There's 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 houses that I can easily deal with just this one. I'm gonna attack you, 25% damage. 70% damage would be good, but I'm essentially sacrificing you to do that. So oh, that would kill, but it didn't. Yeah, that guy's gonna be a pain in my butt. Badly do I not care for this. Because if I leave it where it's at, it's gonna die. If I send it south and leave it near the mage, it's gonna die. So, how much harder other than to do it? I'm expecting the northern merfolk to die right here. Yep, dead. Act, that's fine. That's dead. You're dead. $30. 72. Yep, we want to kill you. Do that. Take care of you. Fortunately, cannot attack sea units from the ground. Makes sense, but at the same time, bit annoying. $84. He went north, so I'm gonna abuse the crap out of you guys. Getting rid of the harpoon bow would be ideal.
I'm here to help.
Healing aura. Tempting. Haven't built one yet, but it's tempting to do right now. We want to get a golem though. That is priority number 1. Everything else is secondary to of concern to me. So probably should have built that golem facing southwards, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to send him south. Here's a question. What tickles your brain? And by that I mean, what is it that, I guess, brings you pleasure or makes you interested in stuff? You know, to the point that you decide that, hey, this is something I want to do, this is something I want to pursue. Die. Like, me, concept of, well, not concept, you know, being able to express thoughts and opinions is always sort of I don't know if give energy is the right word. That phrase is sort of bizarre to me. But the ability to you know, be met with new ideas has always sort of interested me. Plus, I've always been a big fan of, you know, trying to find the truth in things. You know, what is truth? You know, is it the little lies that we tell ourselves each day, or is it the actual facts that we sort of can only glean at? I don't know. And the thing that I don't like is when you tend to get into situations where people need an answer for everything. And that always irritates me a little bit, because in a lot of cases there is no answer to your question, or you're not going to know, you know, you're not going to be truly privy to the true answers that, you know, that you want to find. Example, you know, I mean, you can ask the big questions, you know, who are we, what are we, where did we come from, where are we going, you know, what's the meaning of life, that sort of bullshit. You can come up with a number of different answers for that kind of stuff, you know. At the same time, you know, there's stuff that you could know if you really wanted to, but you're not gonna know, because it's not, you know, it's inside someone else's thought. It's inside their brain, their emotions, what have you. And you're not privy to their thoughts or their emotions. You think you can glean or figure out what they're thinking or what they're going to do next. You know, and sometimes you can. Most of the time you can't. You know, because thoughts are based on, you know, what information you have right now, as well as a fair amount of emotion. You know, I wake up one day and go, boy, I really love, you know, really love the sunshine, or really love, you know, when it rains. Next day you make it up and be like, boy, it's too sunny today, or it's, you know, I'm getting tired of all this rain, it's getting on my nerve, you know, because it's become too common, or it's causing some sort of burden, whether it be flooding or drought or what have you. And for me, you know, when you can't know the answer is not, oh, well, it's a conspiracy. I really can't stand that kind of bullshit. You know, I mean, in many cases, you know, I may have said this before, but sometimes the stupid, simple answer is the correct answer, and the complicated, the complicated, smart answer is the dumb one. Or the wrong one. And the one I always talk about is usually with government is, you know, when you run a business, your business is not going to be efficient. Okay? It's not going to be efficient to the point, you know, like ideally efficient. You know, you're going to have people that are better at their job, you know, people that are worse at their job. You're going to have people that are really efficient with their time. You're going to have people that are inefficient with their time. And, you know, it's not because they're trying to fuck the man, per se, but rather that that's just they're trying to make a living. They're trying to live their life. They're trying to not absolutely hate where they work, whatever the reason is. Okay. But people in power are going to make decisions, whether they be your boss, the owner, what have you, and you're not going to agree with all of them, you know, and they're going to make mistakes, you know. Hopefully they're not going to make business closing, job killing mistakes, but they're going to look at a situation, you know, and they're going to make a decision on that, and they're going to try to do their best to guide the business in the correct direction. So example here might be, you know, we're having trouble getting supplies in. Our options are of I'm sure a number of you know, an infinite number of options. You know, your options are, well, we either wait for the product to come in, or we can't wait for the product to come in, so we're going to pay either a higher amount of money to bring in stuff from not the cheapest vendor, or expedite the material in shipping wise, or wait around for that cheaper material to be delivered. Okay? And each one of them obviously has positives and negatives. Obviously, you're spending more money than you need to when you're bringing stuff in from secondary vendors, but it does get there. It means you can then turn the product and make a profit, etc. Or you wait, you save yourself the money, but in the long term, you've lost out on sales. And either way, you're going to criticize them for making that decision one way or the other. And what I'm suggesting is a very minor microcosm of what I'm trying sort of to get at, which is you have a situation where someone's going to make a choice, and it's going to make people angry, or it's going to upset people because they don't agree with it, or it's restricting something that they previously had or wasn't really an issue, but because it's being abused, it needs to be, you know, regulated or fixed or something to that extent. And people are going to be upset about it because it's not, you know, this morning you woke up and you were able to, you know, trying to think of something off the top of my head. Make as an example. Like, you might wake up one morning. I guess we're gonna use current events. Might wake up one morning and go, you know, we as a community get to decide what is and is not appropriate for our children to read. And then the next morning you wake up and you find out that, well, they're afraid that these books are trying to teach progressive ideals, so we're gonna ban them. And I don't know what to say about that. You know what I mean? When I was, you know, 4 or 5 years old and my parents were reading me Berenstain Bears, you know, I wasn't thinking about how Father Bear was always wrong and Mother Bear was always right about everything, you know? I was just sort of enjoying the lesson. I was more interested in what exactly was happening to Brother and Sister Bear than I was with any sort of larger woke, unwoke, traditional, non-traditional life that they were living, you know? It was a story. I was learning about, you know, a number of different things, like not lying, or saving money, or playing baseball, you know? And, you know, I just sort of enjoyed the stories as they were, you know? And, you know, the characters grew as a result of it, and they learned something, and, you know, that was entertaining. And, you know, when whoever gets to decide whether, you don't get it, you don't necessarily, the higher up you go, the less intimate you are with making these decisions. So if you're, you know, if you're in a local student, not student, what's it called? School board. If you're on the school board, you're making decisions based on information that you have and your own personal bias and all that other fun jazz. You're trying to make a decision that you think is the best thing for your students. And you have other people on your school board, you're not a dictator, other people on your school board that are also making similar decisions to try to, you know, do what is best, whether that is to say, well, I don't think it's appropriate for children to be reading this book in high school or middle school or elementary school, or I don't think children in the elementary school should be taught sex ed, or I do think it's important that they understand at least some amount of basic sexual education, you know. And for me, I'm a large believer of, you know, at maybe at more of a local level, making these decisions. You know, the governor of Pennsylvania shouldn't be making laws about what books should and shouldn't be read. However, you know, if they want to make a suggestion on a series of books that they don't feel are appropriate for high school or middle school, high school, whatever, you know, they want to do that, that's fine. But it's just essentially you saying, this is my opinion. My opinion is as valid as the next person, you know? When you say, well, I want to ban books, you know, for me, that's a red flag. That's, you know, that's you've overstepped your boundaries as a politician or whatever, because that gets into some deep, dark shit that, I'm not a fan of. Yeah, it gets into that, well, I get to make the rules of what is and is not appropriate for everybody, regardless of situation, regarding of educational level. And then at a certain point, you start to go like, okay, so I like this book. I like this book called, I don't know. Gotta look at my library here. We'll just say, I like The Lord of the Rings. You know, you might say, well, I think The Lord of the Rings is anti-Christian. I don't like it because it promotes a message of whatever. Okay. You don't want your kid to read that book. That's fine. That's your personal thing. You know, you don't want to read in your house. You can't stop that person from reading that book in their free time. You cannot stop them from reading that book when they become adult. You cannot stop them from learning about it secondhand from their friends. Okay. And even if you get a whole community to go along with that, you get the other side going, as I've probably mentioned before. This book of stories, you know, from a time period that's, you know, more than 2,000 years ago. How's that relevant to me? A lot of murder and rape and incest and you know, women hating bullshit in this book. You know, some guy decides, or some deity decides whether or not he likes you or not based on what you've done. Doesn't particularly ring well, you know, this common day and age where we're afraid of, you know, teaching our children about history and science, and, you know, because it stands contrary to a book that's several thousand years old and is set in a time period before iron was a common metal used in weaponry. But it's a book of morals. It's a book of you know, trying to do what is right. And in that regard, it does, you know, tries to lay down a set of rules to live a good life by, and to do something to please, you know, God, you know, and, you know, to make sure that you're staying on the right side of the law, you know, and understanding that you're going to make mistakes, and that even though you make those mistakes, they're not going to be there. You know, they shouldn't carry with you for the rest of your life, or hold you back from becoming a better person. You know, or as a community, become better as a community of people. You know, we like to cherry pick things that are in the book and say that, well, the only important part is you live a good, holy Christian life, or a good, holy Jewish life, you know, and you do as the law dictates. But then when the law or the rules or the stories say to feed the poor, that's too difficult. It's too... And individually, many people do that. Many people who are Christian do feed the poor, volunteer, clothe the homeless, you know? And I applaud them for that. But what I don't like is when the poor are villainized, you know, because they can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps. I don't like when, you know, circumstance dictates, you know, situation, and the only way to do that is to knuckle down and get a second job. Why should the rich pay taxes? It's just theft from them. When you could argue that, well, it's not really theft if you're thieving wages from your employees. But I digress. Getting off topic, I suppose. We've got this level pretty well in hand now, and we just have to push on to the capital and take it down. And Sigurd is just going to evade me as I get closer to her, and she only seems to really press in when when she's got the numeric advantage. I'm not going to be able, I'm just going to chase her to the ends of the corners of this map. So it's actually simpler to go for the base here and take it out. So we're going to take care of you, Mr. Warship. Takes strength to be kind. It takes some amount of I don't know what the word, not morals. Takes some amount of compassion in order to realize that, you know, you are not the most important thing in this world. You know, you're part of the world, you know. So misguided. Know that, you know, I see it a lot in not directly, but sort of indirectly in terms of, hey, this place shut down, which means that you're not getting your stuff right away, which means that everything's getting delayed, which means you're going to have to delay your orders, and they're going to have to delay their orders, and so on and so forth until it gets down to the end user. And, you know, ultimately the end user gets pissed off because they don't want to wait. Because it's all about them. Golem. We're gonna bring you in though to heal. Healing aura. And now that's the end of your capital.